In this video I bought a non-gaming Lactum for $200. Well, it's actually a semi-gaming one because it has dedicated AMD graphics, but they're extremely basic. You'll see all the components they have. It's an extremely basic Lactum, which cost me $200 on eBay, but in this unboxing here there will be 2 Lactums, because I bought 2 Lactums on eBay. I also sent them to a courier in the United States so they could be delivered to my country, and that's why they also arrived in Amazon boxes with Amazon labels. But hey guys, if you find this video entertaining and fun, remember that you can subscribe to the channel with the bell activated, leave your like and your comment below in the comment box, and the most important thing and how you can support me is by using the code Darik in the Fortnite store. And without anything else to say, I'll leave you with this unboxing video of the Lactums, so go to the video. There you go, guys, here should be the 2 Lactos themselves. And well, packaged, I don't know how well this has to be packaged here. Okay, guys, there's too much of a case here for the packaging. Here we have the chargers for the 2 Lactos. Okay, guys, here we would have the first one. We're not going to do this one here, but you're going to get a spoiler. But here, well, it has little things and details that we're going to do for a future video. The first one is this one here, my friend. This one here would be the first Lacto. I mean, it looks like a normal one, but you'll see later. The only bad thing is that it has a sticker, but oh well. And it also has some scratches here, and that's also why the price is cheap. I'm going to tell you how much this Lacto here cost me. This laptop here cost me $200, although the real price of this laptop here is around $300 to $400. Obviously in impeccable condition, new condition, but here I think all the scratches it has, scratches, and that obviously takes away from the value of the product. Here you have a Loki sticker. So that also takes away a bit of the price because the case of this laptop itself is not in good condition. But more than anything because of the components that are going to be included next. I like this laptop here. So the first thing we are going to do is see if it turns on, my friend. Okay, as a processor it has a Ryzen 7 and it has AMD Radeon graphics. I don't know what version it has or what model. The only bad thing about this laptop here is that it has 8 GB of RAM. So for that part there, we are in a bad way with 8 GB of RAM because it will not be enough. But logically, the RAM can be increased up to this point and it will be brand new. But let's try it with the 8 GB of RAM that came with it, and we're going to transform this here into a gaming PC because it does have dedicated graphics. So that's a good indication that this PC here is going to be all fire. Anyway, it's true that these are good things, but you can't be too confident. Look, more than anything here I think that if there's a sticker here, if there's a square here, it's not removed. And aesthetically, the bottom part is all good. So guys, here we have this Windows. Here he told me that he installed Windows 11 Home, but I'm going to format the RAM myself and install Windows 11 just so you can see that the operating system can be optimized and also the graphics are going to work really well. So here I bring the powerful one. Here I have Windows 11 dripped. This USB here for people who watched my videos from the beginning. Well, I always use this memory here for operating system installations, so we're going to use this memory here. Okay, now it's sounding like a turbine, my friend, but we'll see that later to see why it sounds like that. I suppose it's because of the operating system. Okay, guys, here you can see the system information for this. Here is an HP Pavilion Lacto 15. Well, in the series itself, but this here has a Ryzen 7 4700U and only has 8 GB of RAM. Which limits us a bit in terms of the operating system, in what the normal use of this computer is going to be. But this here isn't going to stop us from making this Lacto here, a gamer Lacto, which I know we're going to be able to achieve. So we're going to move on to the installation and we'll see you once everything is installed. Okay, guys, we already have Windows 11 installed here. Now, it's fresh and we're going to mainly look at the components. Well, here we already saw the processor, but I don't remember when I had storage. Okay. CPU, as I said a moment ago, we have Ryzen 7 4700. That one here would be the processor itself. RAM, as I told you, we only have 8 GB of RAM, friends. And the worst of all is that we have 2 4 GB slots, that is, we have 2 slots, 8 GB more of RAM occupied. But for this I have a solution here, and that is that I sent some RAM to see on Amazon for this laptop here and the other laptop that I have another video to make. I sent them to see the RAM precisely so that this doesn't happen here, because seriously, PC, we have 36% usage in terms of RAM, only with the operating system intact, freshly installed. And we have storage, 512 GB of storage, and this here is an SC. It's not an M2. So the disk is not bad at all. But the only bad thing is that it has 500 GB, which is an understatement, right? Now in 2025 it's not much here, but hey, paying $200 for a laptop on IB is so bad. And a tip for people who also want to buy their laptops on eBay, I recommend that, please, when you go to buy it, you realize who is selling it to you. I mean, look at the seller's reviews, and I also recommend that you see that they send you everything, but in this case they sent me with the charger and say what the laptop is. And the other laptop that is for the next video, well, that's where I bought it from another seller, but also in a full video, and both gave me confidence, so that's why I bought it. And as you can see, the only bad thing is the scratches it has here in this part here, the only scratches. That's why it also lowers the price of the laptop, because changing this case here is a bit expensive, I think, because this laptop here, if I'm not mistaken, has been around for a few years since it came out. The only good thing about it is the Ryzen 7 processor, because having AMD's Radeon graphics makes it a decent computer, almost at the top of the gamers list, but we're going to configure it so that this is 100% gaming. So, guys, what I'm going to do now is update the equipment, and once it's updated, we're going to move on to optimizing this PC here. Another bad thing that could be said is that if you notice, here it only has a USB input, here it has another USB input, an HDMI output, and a USB Type-C input. Well, it also has an SD connection, but we're not going to use that. As you may have noticed, and those who haven't, there's an Ethernet connection, so we're in trouble because the only way to connect would be via Wi-Fi. So, what we're going to do now is basically connect to a Wi-Fi network and download the updates. This is going to take a bit of time, but there will be a transition once everything here has been updated and the drivers have been installed. So, I'll see you in a few seconds. And as I was saying before, this laptop here does not have an Ethernet connection, only a Wi-Fi connection. I am connected to my 5G network, and I only have 390 megabytes of Wi-Fi. Since this does not have an Ethernet port, we are only limited to 390 megabytes. It would be better to connect to the internet if we had 1 gigabit, but in this case, we only have this capacity and we can browse 490 megabytes. It's not bad, but it would be advisable to have 1 gigabyte to be able to download faster, and also for games, since it is much better to have 1 gigabyte. But, in this case, we have to get used to the fact that this only receives 390 megabytes to be able to browse. We are installing programs, also updating the PC, and, as you can see, my CPU is already at 100% usage, and my RAM is at 70% usage. And this is what we're going to fix once all the updates have been downloaded and programs and games downloaded here to improve their performance. What we're going to do is reduce this here. Guys, I've downloaded the updates, I've also downloaded Minecraft, and I'm currently downloading Fortnite and Tomb Raider, just to benchmark. Let's see how it works for us now. Once the operating system is optimized, we also need to run what would be the script to optimize Windows to reduce threads. So what we're going to do now is perform optimizations before running the script, which would be to disable this entire section here, which you also have below in the description of this video. And in the comments you have the full video on how I optimize my operating system. I'm going to do it for Fortnite or any other game. I already have a video made, but here I'm just going to briefly explain it. Here, what I like to do here, the system part, is here, energy and battery. Here where it says balanced. Here, I always set it to maximum performance so that this PC here doesn't run out of power. And here where it says waiting time for the screen to turn off, I never set this because it will never believe that my laptop screen will turn off. If I'm idle for a moment, I prefer it to be activated rather than for it to turn off. And here, I always leave it at 20%. Here, in multitasking, which are effects and things like that, I usually leave the dock here deactivated because I don't want to automatically dock Windows or anything like that. I leave all that deactivated because I feel that the system works a little better for me, but that would be up to each person. And then in the games section, I also deactivate the game controller because in this case, it's not recommended to have that option activated in graphics. Here, too, the default configuration is windowed game optimization. I always have it enabled, and in game mode, I have it disabled here. That uses up a bit of my resources. And now the next thing to disable is in privacy and security in the Windows permissions and application permissions sections. I usually disable all of this here. I only leave the camera and microphone enabled because I do use those, but notifications, account information, contacts, etc. I usually leave all of that disabled because it does use up a bit of your CPU's processing power. So by disabling this, we take the stress off our processor, and with this here, we will have part of the optimization of this Windows done. And that's it, guys. Once all of these options are disabled, now I'm going to go to this computer. I'm going to click here where it says Properties. And once here in properties, we're going to go to the advanced system settings. This here is the classic one, my friends, that everyone should do. We leave it here set to adjust for better performance, and we only let it adjust borders and show thumbnails. Once we've left this out of the way, we're going to optimize the PC quite a bit. I know that many people don't know these basic optimizations, which is why I always repeat them. And that's it, guys. Once that's done, we've already optimized 50% of the operating system. Now what we're going to do is run the script. We're going to go to PowerShell and run the following command, which you'll also find below in the description of this video. We're going to run this command here, and it's going to download a little program, which is an executable where we're going to select the optimization we're going to acquire. In this case, it's going to be an optimization in which we're not going to touch any of Windows security because logically we don't believe in that because we want a secure system. The only thing we're going to remove is bloodware and disable telemetry. Also, here when this option appears, it appears here from FT. You're in Twix and here you have the different options that this program gives you. We're going to say standard because we're not going to move many things. We're only going to use these options here, and here it also gives you advanced options which you can disable. But here it says caution. Always keep in mind that you're not going to use what's here, because you just select it and run the program and it will be deleted from Windows, it will be removed. But in my case I'm going to leave everything as default and click on Room Twix. What we have to do now is wait for this to finish. And that's it, guys. Here the PC is already optimized. Well, some disk space has also been freed up here. We click accept and now we can close this here. I saw the end of these tweets here, which are basically settings that help us better optimize our operating system. What we're going to do now is install the drivers for the graphics card of this Radeon graphics, and we're going to wait a few seconds while this installs because now we're going to make this computer here a gamer. Okay, guys, the drivers for this graphics card have been installed and now we have to see how many FPS we get in Minecraft, Fortnite, and Tomb Raider. And now it does feel a little smoother. Let's go here and just wait for this to finish and the graphics card should appear. And we wait a moment more, and here we see what the GPU should appear. As you can see, AMD Ron graphics. We have less than 1 GB, but hey, it's basically enough for this gamer thing here. We have less than 1 GB, but it's still enough for us, guys. So let's try out the games now and see how it goes, since we have a good processor. The only downside is that it only has 8 GB of RAM, only 8, my friends. This here doesn't do us justice. It's basically an injustice to have 8 GB with 2 occupied. But, my friend, for $200, there's this thing here. It's not bad at all. More than anything, it comes with a dedicated graphics card. It's not that good, nor the best, nor the one I would like to have in a basic laptop. But it has it and we are going to use it and we are going to see that any game we try here will work for us. And there you have it, guys. Here we have Minecraft with the default configuration of 60 FPS. Logically for Minecrafters it is because VIN is enabled. We click on no and that does increase the FPS, my friend. What is true, the CPU, my friend, is at 103C. That means that we have to change the thermal paste on this laptop because it is reaching more than 100C. Obviously it is rising and normal rising that reaches those degrees centered, but friends, I think we have to change the thermal paste because if we notice, the GPU is also at 80C. It is bad, you could say, because it does not have to reach these degrees centigrade, 75, 80 maximum, it will not go beyond that. And the CPU shouldn't go over 95 either. So we'd have to open this part here and change the thermal paste. But for now, let's see how it works the way we have it. Let's go to settings, let's go to graphics, and let's make this smaller because it was too big. We're going to reduce the settings. We're going to leave everything at minimum because this part here isn't a gamer's game. Well, let's only increase the settings, removing the FPS limit, and we see that we're getting 194, almost 200 FPS. But the FPS aren't that bad, guys. We have 175. Obviously, all this here is thanks to the dedicated graphics card that we have. Although it's less than 1 GB, it's not good enough for Minecraft, since, remember, we have a Ryzen 7, but hey guys, we have 143, 150 FPS. I think we're doing really well. Let's lower the simulation to CCO and the chunks to 2%. Let's see how much maximum FPS we can reach. We can reach 300 FPS. What do you say, my friend? Here we are almost like a gaming computer itself. What the? Let's put the F5 here. Oh, my friend, obviously everything is at minimum, but I'm surprised that we reach this amount of chunks, my friend. 300 FPS. Here 300 FPS. Well, it's not bad at all, my friends. These are good FPS that we have. What I'm going to do is put Minecraft in full screen because I realized that it was in normal screen. So we see that yes. Escape, escape, escape. And now we do have the real FPS, my friends. 365 FPS. It's not bad at all to have this FPS here. 366 FPS. Well, I feel that this Lacto here is now a Lacto gamer. My friend, now she is a Lacto gamer. She deserves to be called a Lacto gamer. And now what we're going to test is Fortnite, my friend, and Tomb Raider. But first we're going to try Tomb Raider and see how many FPS it gives us there. What we're going to do here in Tomb Raider is change the settings. Let's put it at 60 Hz because this screen is at 60 Hz. The quality, let's put it at maximum first. Okay, guys, we're already here in Tomb Raider. I'm going to lower the volume a little bit, and as we can see, only the loading menu has 41 FPS. Everything is at maximum, friends. Everything is at maximum. So we're going to start a test bench and we're going to see what the minimum and maximum FPS are that this game here gives us. But with 60 FPS I would be happy because it's a game that can definitely be played at 60 FPS, at 60 Hz or 90. But we can see here that we have 20 FPS, friends. Well, it's low, but for a $200 screen, my friend. Who wouldn't want to have these FPS? That is, it is expected that this here gives us 18 FPS. As you can see, the GPU is being used at 99%, which is very good, but the CPU is at 25% because obviously all the load is on the GPU, but since it is only 500 megabytes, it makes sense that we have 99% usage. So we wait to see how many FPS this Tomb Raider gives us. And here we have, guys, the amount of FPS. It is something to be expected in itself. At minimum we have 16 FPS, at maximum 30, and we have an average of 22 FPS. It is something to be expected more than anything because this game here also consumes a lot of graphics, but it is there. The only thing this part of here does need is more RAM, my friend, because we only have 8 and I think we can reach about 30 or 40 FPS with 16 gigabytes of memory rank. So Tomb Raider, well, we can say that at the moment it is not playable, only 22 FPS. And guys, here we are in Fortnite. As you can see we have 66 FPS, 71. We are here in Fortnite and well, it's going well. Well, it's a drop in FPS. Basically, falling off the bus, we're always going to have FPS drops, but for now, let's see, I want to go up here, please, Fortnite. Okay, there we have the real FPS in Fortnite. Well, it's not so bad, honestly. We have 66 FPS and all that, and that's with the 3D resolution at 100%. Well, let's run here and obviously the monitor is 60 Hz, so it's a little noticeable, it's a little choppy. It's basically because the monitor is 60 Hz, if it were 144 it would have been smoother. But as you can see we have 74 FPS, friends. I'm going to connect the mouse so you can see how many FP it doesn't have, to see how smooth this is here. Okay, guys, here we have the mouse installed and the truth is that it feels a little fluid, especially with the 60 Hz monitor. Well, there are the dips. We've seen 27 FPS, but I don't think this here is that constant. Let's see, well, I'm playing with Wi-Fi, friends. I forgot to tell you that this laptop here doesn't have an Ether adapter. I'm using Wi-Fi and it's normal that I have the pin at 120, friends. I don't have the pin and the only maximum that the Wi-Fi gives me is 390 megabytes, so that's why I see the pin high here in the game. But friend, let's reduce the 3D resolution. Obviously if I put a stretched resolution here, it would increase the FPS badly, but I'm only going to lower the 3D resolution to 80%. And I feel that the game is playable, friends. 70 FPS, I mean, for a cheap, economical laptop. I think this price here is more than worth it, friends. I mean, this FPS here is more than good because, my friend, $200 with a Lactum that grabs you in Fortnite like this. As I was saying, if I put it at an extended resolution, the game would look better. Basically, it would have about 60 FPS to 70 FPS more stable. So I'm going to put 3D resolution on A. Oh, no, this is the brightness. Sorry, 3D resolution. Let's put it at 30%. The game looks bad, but my friend, what's up? We're almost at 100 FPS. What the? There it looks more playable, my friend. I mean, I can already feel the fluidity. Now yes, 108 FPS. Okay, so reducing the 3D resolution, reducing it, now yes, guys, I get the edits. Well, I ran out of material. Yes, I get the edits because I already have more FPS and it feels more fluid. So, guys, tell me, did you like this PC here? That I bought it for $200 on eBay. I'm going to give you a recommendation. If you want to buy on eBay like I did, I recommend that you please check the eBay seller. Look at the comments they have, their reputation, because there are many sellers, friends, who sell you a product, but in the description it says that the product is not worth it or has a fault. And that's the excuse that when you go to file a claim with PayPal, they won't give you a refund because they said the product was not worth it and you end up losing money. I'm telling you this because I've been through that before. I've been buying on eBay for several years now, so I'm going to use the methods that eBay uses, and I already know a lot about how to buy on eBay. So guys, for all the people who want to buy a laptop like this, please check the product description very carefully, the serial number of the product that is published with the one they give you the laptop with. Please check there so that when they send you the package, they send you the product that it is. Don't just trust the photos on eBay, but also check all the details of the product that are in the description. That's a recommendation from me, friends. It's a recommendation from your friend Darik so that you don't get confused when you want to buy a product. For example, in my case, I only buy gamer products because my channel is about gamer stuff, and that's why I upload this type of content. So, guys, and that's all I have to say. Remember to leave your like, your comment, your subscription, and the most important thing is to use the code in the Fortnite store so that your FPS goes up. Also remember, if you want the optimization guide, you have a video pinned below, in the comments box, and also in the description of this video, so that you can optimize your PC, just like I do. Since in this video it was quick and, in itself, it was to see this product here. This PC that I got for $200, which actually turned out really well. The only thing we did have to install was the AMD drivers. That was also really hard because I had to install it and reinstall it because there was a bug in the drivers, but anyway, we managed to get it to work on the graphics of these GPUs here, and those are the results, guys. There you can see, 133 FPS. And with nothing else to do, guys, for those who are wondering what I'm going to do with this laptop here, I'll most likely end up giving it away to a family member, because I feel like no one is going to get this laptop here, just for the video on this channel here. But I'll probably give it away to a family member, since it's a really good laptop for $200. And well, without any details, apart from the one on the back of the laptop case. So guys, now I'm going to say goodbye. See you next time. Bye. I just wrote the song. Yeah, so come along.